Hello, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Nick Tan with Agency Profits, and today I'm going to be talking about how to find high-paying SMMA clients in 2024. And I'm going to be showing you how to book dozens of appointments every single day, if not every single week, and the most efficient strategies that you can use in your marketing agency. And these are strategies that I've trialed and errored over the past 7 years of running my agency. And there are a ton of different ways to get clients. There's no one way that's the best way to get clients, but there are more efficient ways. And today, my goal is to show you the most efficient ways that we've used in our own agency to grow to multiple seven figures and how to actually do so in the most efficient way where it doesn't take a bunch of time for you to implement, a ton of complexity, or anything like that. So, with that being said, let's jump right in. The first thing, and I've talked about this many times in my other trainings and videos, is that you need to have a niche. A niche is the most important thing when it comes to your agency because it's the foundation of everything else, including your offer, your service, and how you actually create those things. So the first and foremost thing that you need to figure out in your agency is, do you have a niche? So I've talked about this in my other training, so I don't want to dwell on this too much, but to give you some insights, in my agency, we've mostly worked with home service-based businesses, particularly in the roofing industry. And the reason why is because it's a high ticket niche where they can afford our services. The demand for our services is very, very high. But not only that, they charge their clients a lot of money as well. A typical roof can be anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 for a single roof. So it's easy for us to get them a really, really big ROI and ensure that they get great results, right? Comparatively to certain other industries where the LTV is very, very low. For example, with restaurants, right? It's not an industry that I've ever targeted because for me to justify a $2,000 or even $3,000 per month retainer, I have to get them a ton of clients. You know, when a meal costs like 30 to 40 bucks, I have to get a lot of clients in order for them to see an instant ROI. So my recommendation to you is to always choose an industry where they charge their clients a lot of money so that way you can help them get an insanely quick ROI. So with that being said, let's jump right in on how to actually land clients. So there's typically two ways of landing clients. The first way is going to be organic. This is great when you are first starting out, or even if you're doing, even something like $10,000 per month in your agency. Organic never goes away. We still use organic to this day. We do a ton of organic marketing. So organic marketing is great because it allows you to trial and error your offers really, really quickly without going to paid ads where you have to invest a bunch of money into ad spend and things like that. And it's also a great way to start if you don't really have clients in your agency yet as well, because the thing with organic is I kind of treat it like almost a place where you can just toss anything out into the market and it gives you feedback very, very quickly. And the reason why is that when we look at the different steps to actually closing a client, well, you need to have your offer dialed in. You need to have your sales process dialed in. You need to have your fulfillment dialed in. And if you're paying for appointments and you're investing a ton of money into ad spend right out of the gate and you have no experience, well, it's very likely that you're going to get appointments and you're going to get all these different things, but you won't have the other inputs and the right infrastructure in place to take full advantage of paid ads. So organic is the best way to start if you're still kind of building out those things. Paid ads is great when you're looking to scale. So we're going to dive into organic, and I'm also going to show you how we utilize paid ads as well to scale. Right? And those are kind of the two primary methods. Paid ads is great for scaling when everything is full on dialed in. So first and foremost, we'll dive into organic. Most of the time, even if you're doing paid ads and things like that, you should still be doing organic. Organic is really good because it supplements everything. It's almost like a full-on ecosystem. Because some people, they might go to your organic profiles and things like that. Then they get hit by an ad and then they start to look at some of your organic and follow you for a little bit. Then they get hit by another ad and it becomes this ecosystem. It's very similar for your clients, right? Where paid ads is really, really good to get them leads. But ultimately, if they want to have a long-term brand, they also need an organic presence. And it's the same thing with your business too. It's always good to have an organic presence. So There's generally a few different ways when it comes to organic. I'm sure there's more than this, but these are kind of the ways that we did when I was really, really growing my agency and everything. And then I'll tell you why we settled on social media outreach. But essentially, with organic, there's going to be social media outreach, cold calling, and cold emailing. Okay, we do a lot of this stuff, not so much anymore, but this is how I initially got my start, was through cold calling. This works, but it's super high volume and unpredictable. Some days you get really lucky and you get leads and appointments set very, very quickly. Other days, people just don't want to talk to you, or you can't really control the pickup rate. Then you have to deal with gatekeepers and all these different things. And it works. Don't get me wrong. Cold calling absolutely works, but it's not my ideal way. It's not the most efficient way of going to get clients. And the problem with cold calling is you have to essentially dial 24/7, essentially, if you want to get clients. If you stop cold calling, then the inputs stop and you're not going to get clients. So this means you either need to hire a team or hire someone who's actually going to be cold calling and doing those things consistently, or you need to be very consistent with it yourself. And the problem with being consistent with it is, to be honest, no one really likes cold calling. Maybe someone might actually like cold calling, but I've never found them. And typically it's just not a great way to scale. Is it an okay way to get your first, couple clients? Yes, totally fine. But if you want to actually build a long-term infrastructure where your agency can actually grow to, 7 figures or multiple 6 figures, this isn't really going to be one of the most efficient ways to do so. Like I said, though, I do want to put the caveat out there. There are agencies who have actually scaled with cold calling, but you need a very complex infrastructure in order to do so. The next thing is cold email. We still do this, right? But things have obviously changed with, certain updates with Google and things like that. But you also still need to have certain things in place, right? Before, you could just send out cold emails and get people on a call and, it'd be fine. But nowadays, with markets becoming more sophisticated, with more agencies out there and more competition and things like that, you need to have things in place where it actually nurtures the prospect. So it's no longer the case you can just send out a cold email and, expect them to become a client. Now you have to take them through a nurture process, typically through a VSL funnel or something like that. And at the same time, it still needs to be high volume. If you're only sending out 100, 200 emails per day, it's not likely going to convert, right? But if you're sending thousands and thousands of emails per day, just through the law of numbers, it's likely to get someone onto your calendar and eventually you will close. Again, not my favorite way of scaling. We do this just to kind of supplement things and trial and test out certain things. And we do land clients through this right now, so don't get me wrong. But the most consistent way and the way we've scaled up is through social media outreach. I really love using social media outreach because not only does it build up your organic brand, but there are you're going to have people who come into your marketing ecosystem, and you're going to have potential clients who just aren't quite ready to buy from you. Certain people, a certain percentage of the market is going to be ready to buy from you right then and there. Some people might not be in the position to buy from you. And a lot of the other people who are teaching how to actually scale up and, run marketing agencies are more of in like a buy or die kind of mentality, right? It's like either you buy from me now or it's considered a dead lead. How I like to think of it is there's certain buying cycles. Like I said, there's certain percentage of people who are going to be ready to buy from you right now. And then others are just going to take some time. They might not trust you. They might be a more long-term buyer who needs to see different things from you before they actually pay you. They might not have the funds to pay you right now. It doesn't mean they're a bad lead, but it just means they might need to be put on a long-term follow-up list. The other thing too is that I have met so many business owners who started off as a solopreneur and followed me and watched my organic brands and everything like that. And eventually when they were ready, when they built up a team and they actually scaled up, they were ready to invest into me because they saw my stuff for years. And this is the way to actually scale up, because over time, as more agency owners enter the space and it becomes more of a competitive market, which it already is super competitive, you have to find ways to stand out. And social media outreach is really, really great because it allows you to stand out based on who you are, based on the values that you have. And people like to buy from people. A lot of the business owners I've worked with, they value services, they value the offer and everything like that. But all those things can easily be replicated. What cannot be replicated is you as a person, the values you stand for, the things that you put out, the organic content, right? That you put out for, over time that compounds. So me doing this for years and years and years now, you can imagine how much my organic brand has grown in that time. So if you can start this today and actually start building on that, this is not only going to get you clients right away, but this is going to pay dividends long term. And your goal as a business owner is to build out your business long term. I hope you're not in business just for short term where you're trying to just get in and get out. If you're a real business owner, you're really trying to build this out for the long term. Your business is going to evolve and you're going to have new offers and things like that. But what's also going to evolve is your brand presence, your organic presence. And this is going to help you build up an audience, build up like a long-term pool of buyers who are going to buy from you for years to come, which is absolutely fantastic if you really, really want to scale and have a great foundation for your business. So doing social media outreach really allowed me to build my business to multiple seven figures. Like literally just from my Facebook profile, I was able to generate over 7 figures worth of customers. We recently did a launch for a new offer and we did $120,000 in under 3 weeks, just completely organically, no paid ads or anything like that. And that is the power of having an organic presence. And I've also taught this system to over 900 SMMA and agency owners. And we have trialed and tested every certain part of this kind of foundation. And also we've seen a ton of amazing success from our clients and members who are using this social media outreach system. And this is a really great way to scale up quickly based on all the stuff I've just told you. And the best part is when you do have an organic presence, you can toss out different offers. People are going to buy offers from you. You can trial out offers really quick. And that is what I do. It's like we just trialed out this new offer. We know people want it. We made $120,000 just from trialing this offer out. And now what we're going to do is reinvest paid ads to scale up that offer. And that is the best way to utilize your organic presence. So how the heck do we actually do this? And what actually can you see, from what kind of results can you actually see from utilizing this, right? So this is Tyler. He started at complete zero. He was a noob when he joined my program, and I started mentoring him on helping him start his own agency. And he literally went from zero to about $35,000 a month just with his Facebook profile, literally just with his Facebook profile. And you can see just in a day, right? Or 2 days, he closed $11,700 worth of clients in literally 2 days just from his organic Facebook profile. And that is literally the power, guys. Like that's more than some agency owners make in a month. And he's doing that in just a couple of days. All right. So that's the power of it. So how do we actually land clients using social media? Well, there's typically going to be 3 different channels that you're going to be looking at. So realistically, there's going to be Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, right? Those are the best channels that we have found. And when we look at like most niches and industries, most of the time they're going to be on one of these 3 channels, if not all 3 of these channels. The thing with the channels is it doesn't really matter which channel you choose. Or if you're utilizing all 3 channels. So for example, I mainly used Facebook. My Facebook profile was typically like the core of my organic brand. And now we also have an Instagram brand. And my Instagram has almost 120,000 followers at this time. But I'm growing these too. My LinkedIn profile, it's there, but it's not one of our main things that we utilize. So you're going to want to pick and choose which ones you can actually focus on and which ones you want to focus on. But more importantly, which platforms your actual clients are on. So like on Facebook and Instagram, there are a ton of roofing companies and home service brands that we work with. And not only that, but their personal profiles are on there. So I can engage with them on a person to person level, on a human to human level, which is how I get them to see my brand. And not only that, but where they interact with me and see my values and see, into my personal life and all these different things, right? That get them to know me as a person. And people like to buy from people, right? And although it's a business to business transaction, at the end of the day, behind the businesses, it's a human who owns the business. And at the end of the day, humans just need to resonate with people in order to buy from them, right? There's a lot of times where I haven't bought from someone because I just I didn't resonate with their values. I didn't like who they were as a person. So it's important that you have these things to kind of differentiate yourself. And this is how you differentiate your agency. So with that being said, let's break this down. So with Facebook, if you're going to be actually before we jump into that, I should say with LinkedIn, there are going to be certain brands that are going to be significantly better on LinkedIn. And the reason why is LinkedIn is a very B2B based platform. So for a lot of like more white collar based industries, LinkedIn will work significantly better. However, I've worked with a lot of solar agencies who grew with LinkedIn, which is really cool, right? A lot of them are on LinkedIn, and I've actually trialed out LinkedIn with the solar industry, and we were able to land some clients in that space relatively quickly as well. So LinkedIn is great because it's just a B2B platform. It's a B2B social media platform, which literally just means that they are on there to make connections with other business owners, and they are there to make deals, which is fantastic. So LinkedIn is really great as a supplement. So what it looks like to actually utilize Facebook is you want to utilize your personal profile. Everyone asks me if they can use like a business page or something like that. Business pages don't get great engagement, but it also does not allow you to build a personal brand. A business page is great for your business brand, but we're trying to build a personal brand, right? So what you want to do is start posting daily content on your personal profile. And this can be content that's educational, stuff that's about your personal life, whatever you're comfortable sharing, wins and testimonials from your current clients, any new offers that you're creating, any new lead magnets or things like that you're creating. You want to post those things on Facebook. Now, once you start posting daily content, you also want to engage with people who are in your niche. And the best way to engage with people who are in your niche is by finding Facebook groups. There are so many Facebook groups, right? And in fact, Facebook prioritizes a lot of Facebook groups because they want communities on there. It's a social platform, right? And how a social platform is going to work is when people are interacting with each other. So that's why Facebook groups are a really great way. So if you go look up different groups in different industries, there's literally like tens and tens of thousands of people in these Facebook groups, which is absolutely insane. Now, the other thing too is we want to start building your friends list up. On Facebook, you get up to 5,000 friends. So that's 5,000 leads. Imagine having 5,000 people in your niche who are on your friends list, and you're posting content regarding their niche and, all that stuff every single day. So if you can add 50 friends a day or more, right? Sometimes Facebook has certain caps and things like that, but typically, 50 friends a day is very doable. You'll start to build up your friends list, and your friends list is essentially going to be your lead list. And to get 5,000 leads is very expensive with paid ads. So this is a great way just to filter out and start to find people, your ideal clients in your niche, and start adding them as friends and putting them onto your profile, which is fantastic. Okay. Same thing, same kind of process with Instagram is you're going to follow 50 to 100 people a day. Send 50 messages a day to people who follow you or people who you're interacting with, people who engage with your content. That's exactly what we do. We send out a lot of outbound messages to people who like our reels. And every so often when we post content, we have something that goes absolutely viral. Like right now we have a post that's going super viral, where it got like, or a reel that got like 250,000 views or something like that, and a ton of DMs and people messaging us. But we're also outbounding people who have engaged with it, people who have commented on that post, people who have liked that post. And these are people who have engaged with your personal brand. So those are great people to reach out to. Now, you might not have that kind of volume when you first start, so it's okay to just send out 50 messages a day to people who are actually in your niche as well, right? And just send them a hello, making sure that you actually, just kind of reach out to them. We're not pitching them. So I want to ensure that you guys know that we're not just pitching them right off the gate. We're just saying hello and interacting with them, maybe giving them some free value up front, right? If you have a lead magnet that's super valuable that you can give them. Those things work really, really well. And then LinkedIn, kind of same thing. You want to make 50 to 100 new connections a week on there to start. If it's a brand new profile, you kind of have to build up your limits and things like that, but kind of at a minimum of like 50 to 100 new connections every single week. And then of those people, you're going to be sending messages to them. So 50 to 100 new messages. Now with LinkedIn, like I said, it's a little bit more direct because it's a B2B social media platform. So all of them are typically already business owners and people who make great money. And, there's a lot of active users on LinkedIn that are super, super high quality. And you do want to post content as well, because posting content, people are going to look at your profile and they're going to, essentially look at your profile and see if it's worth responding to. So the main thing with your profiles is, as you can see with each one of these, you need to be posting content. And that is the way to stand out these days. And yes, it's uncomfortable at the beginning if you're not used to posting content. And if you are posting content, then do more of it. You can't post enough content. So we try to post as much content, and good content too, valuable content, and stuff that, allows them to see who I am as a person. Now, once you start to do that and you have your profile set up, you need to have a conversion mechanism. So a conversion mechanism is essentially something that you're going to essentially push them to from your profile, where you can really start to educate them on exactly what you do and where you can toss out offers and actually nurture them more, right? And this is going to allow you to start to move them towards the process of becoming a customer of yours. So typically, most people will just go from DMs, right? From profile to DMs and then trying to sell someone. A conversion mechanism is going to make it significantly easier. Right now in your sales calls, you're probably hearing things like, why should I go with you? What makes you different from all the other agencies out there? Why is your pricing so expensive, right? You haven't had a chance to build trust and nurture them into someone that knows you and actually likes and trusts you, right? Which are the things that you need in order to make a sale. So when it comes to a conversion mechanism, it's very dependent on, the group or the platform that you're utilizing. So for me, I used a Facebook group for a long, long time. Now there's different things that you can do, like LinkedIn groups, or you can just have your Instagram as your conversion mechanism with all your content there and everything like that. Or you can have a YouTube channel or even a school group, right? But you want to have a group of some sort where you can post really, really good content in. And the content is typically going to be revolved around how you generate results for your clients, right? So this is great. So for us, we used a Facebook group. And we built up a group of thousands and thousands of people and tossed content into there every single day, but more content that was related to how we got them results, or more testimonials or case studies and things like that. And this is going to get them to a point where they build more trust with you. And they're also going to see your organic content on your personal profile as well. But the conversion mechanism is really going to get them bought into your specific offer and the service and how you can actually help them. All right. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to post a comment and I can get back to you on those things. But that is essentially what it is. So after you get them into your conversion mechanism, then what you're going to do is DM them, because they're going to see all this proof, all this content. The other thing too is, as you build up your conversion mechanism, there's going to be tons of people who start interacting with each other, and you're essentially building a mini community, right? So that's going to lead to you building a ton of trust and having an authority in the space and having an authority in the niche that you're in. So then what you're going to do is actually send them a direct message. And basically with the DM, what we're essentially doing is checking in on them and saying, hey, how are things going in your business? Or, hey, thanks for joining my group. I just want to check in and see like how you're enjoying everything in the actual group, or if there's anything I can help with. And then we start to build up this conversation where we are opening it up to seeing if we actually might be a good fit to help them. So I have a super in-depth training on the YouTube channel already that you guys are watching. So I would highly recommend watching. I believe it's like a 45-minute training on how to send DMs and how to do it the right way. And it goes through the whole process. So if you guys have any questions, just watch that video, because I go into a ton of depth and literally show you exactly what you need to do so. So then the goal of the DMs is to move them to a discovery call, which is essentially a 10 to 15 minute intro call. And the reason why is because I want something that's very low commitment. If this is just a 10 to 15 minute call, it's much easier than me asking for 60 minutes of their time. Asking for 60 minutes of someone's time to sell them right out of the gate is very difficult. Whereas if I can just get them on a 10-minute call, I can basically build some rapport with them and essentially, show them that, I'm not going to waste their time, and actually give them something valuable on the sales call, right? So either way, on the sales call, you do want to make it valuable. But the point is that it's a much easier ask. It's a much lower commitment for them to say, yeah, I can give you 10 minutes of my time, rather than you saying like, hey, hop on a 60-minute Zoom call where I'm going to show you my offer and all these different things, right? And on this 10 to 15 minute call, I can build rapport and actually sell them into hopping on a longer call with me where it's going to be beneficial for them. Now, after I'm on the discovery call and I've booked in my sales call, in between, I want to send them a case study. So this is a very minor thing, but this changed the game for us. This allowed us to go from like, a lot of people not seeing the value in our services. And on top of that, they were, our show rates weren't significantly high for from discovery call to sales call. But literally after implementing a case study, close rates went up, show rates significantly went up, and people just like were super excited to hop on the sales call. Like, it changed the game of the sales call, because most of the time on the sales call, it feels like you're convincing someone. But with this, they came in so bought in that they were just ready to buy. And because they were so nurtured, it was literally like actually a 20 or 30 minute call and they were already paying, right? So this is going to really help with this stuff. But I realized it's also it's not just because of having the case study, but it's also a combination of having all these inputs together, right? So it works as a whole ecosystem. And this is great because you're also going to have a portion of people who in the discovery call, you might talk to them and they might not be a good fit for you right now. And that is totally fine, because even if they're not a good fit for you right now, then let's just toss them back in the conversion mechanism, or they're going to be in the conversion mechanism where they're going to be nurtured longer term, right? Or let's say you're DMing someone and they're telling you they're basically not a good fit, or they're giving you indicators they're not a good fit for your service right now. Doesn't mean they'll never be a good fit forever. It just means for right now. So we want to nurture them long-term in the conversion mechanism. So this conversion mechanism is going to eventually build up into your own mini prospecting ecosystem, right? And then basically anyone who's not ready is going to get tossed back in the conversion mechanism. And then the process starts again when the time comes. So implementing the case study is really good. Tossing in a quick 5-minute Loom video of testimonials, your unique system, your offer, details of your offer on a high level, and things like that are really great. But more than anything, it's just to showcase like your top clients and what you did to actually get them to those results. And then you're going to have the sales call and then close them. So essentially, that is the organic system. Okay. Now I want to hop over to the paid system and talk about how to actually scale up as well. So you're going to utilize this to get your first few clients and get clients long-term, right? And start to build all this out. Now, pouring paid ads on it is just going to add fuel to the fire, which is really powerful. So I'll do a longer video and going in depth into some of this, but I wanted to give you kind of the overview of how this looks in terms of like a funnel perspective. And you should probably be relatively familiar with this if you already do something similar for your clients. But this is exactly what we did to scale up and really scale up quickly once we utilized those organic methods. Tossing paid ads is going to grow your organic reach, but it's also going to get buyers who are ready to buy from you right now. So when you set up an agency appointment funnel, we typically use meta ads, all right? Very simple Facebook and even Instagram ads as the placement. And generally we're aiming for a $10 to $20 cost per lead. The next part of the funnel is we typically have a landing page and we aim for a 20 to 30% landing page conversion. That means of the people who are clicking on this ad, we are aiming for a 20 to 30% landing page conversion, which should lead to a $10 to $20 cost per lead. All right. And typically we're also aiming for a 1% click-through rate on the meta ads, right? If not higher. But that's generally kind of the metrics that we aim for. If you get all these things in place on this side, then typically you're going to have a VSL case or case study. So very similar to on the organic side, but a VSL is essentially a little bit longer, between 5 to 8 minutes is typically what we shoot for. A very quick and concise case study. Before, many years ago, we used to do case studies and VSLs that were like 20 to 30 minutes long. We even did one that was 45 minutes long. But nowadays, what's converting the best is a short 5 to 8 minute VSL / case study. And if the VSL is done correctly, then you should be getting about 20% of the people who land on that page to a booked call. So when we look at it from this perspective, you kind of know exactly what it needs to, what kind of metrics you're aiming for. And then really you're just iterating certain parts of the funnel until you hit the minimum metric. Obviously, if you're doing better, then that's fantastic. But these are just kind of like the averages that you want to aim for. Now, of the people who actually schedule a call, you're probably going to disqualify 50% of them. Paid ads, you're going to get people who are just not a good fit, right? People who are going to be opting in. Not every single call is going to be good quality. For us, we disqualify about 50% of the people we talk to or actually who actually schedule a call. And that's fine, because what we're going to do then is toss them into our conversion mechanism down here, right? Which is great. So we'll just toss them into the conversion mechanism. No big deal. Okay. So that's really good, because this then builds up your whole ecosystem. You can see how they start to work together in that sense. But of the 50% of people who are a good fit, you're actually going to hop on a call with them, push them to a sales call. And of those people who are on the sales call with you, you should be closing a minimum of 20%. This is where you can make a really good impact, is by improving your sales and things like that. Because obviously if you can get your closing ratio to like 30%, that's even better. Right? However, let's say you have a really, really high closing ratio. It means that your pricing is too low and that you can probably increase your pricing. So I like to aim for like between a 20 to 30% closing ratio. That tends to tell me my pricing is on point, and also that, I'm closing the right amount of people that should be closed, so that way I have a profitable campaign. And typically you're aiming for $100 to $200 cost per booked call. So really, when you look at the whole funnel, we're looking at a cost per acquisition of about $500 to $1,000 to acquire a client. Now, the best part is that, let's say you're charging a minimum of, let's say, $2,000 a month. Well, you're already profitable on the front end, right? And if you do it in the way that I like to do it, where we like to get pay in fulls and things like that, let's say you get, a contract that's paid in full and they pay you $10,000 up front. Well, you're literally at like a 10x ROI. Even if you get half of that up front, you're at a 5x ROI. Now, this doesn't even equate to the lifetime value of the client. So you can see how this becomes stupidly scalable. But the thing is, you need to have your economics in place. If you're charging like $500 a month, it can still work, but you're going to be losing money on the front end, right? Doesn't make sense. So that's why I typically like to say to people who I work with that they need to be charging a minimum. The agencies that I work with need to be charging a minimum of at least $1,500, if not more, because we also want to think about your fulfillment costs and the economics of those things, right? And making sure that you have margin to scale, because you also want to be able to build up and hire really good team members, and team members who are actually going to perform well, and A players are not going to be cheap, right? And then when we look at also having to pay closers and things like that, if you're not the one taking the sales calls, we need the margin. So in fact, I actually want to bump that up and say you need to be charging a minimum of $2,000 upfront per month, or you need to learn to actually collect more cash up front. So it's a lot more economics when we look at this side, whereas when we talk about the organic side, it doesn't really matter as much, because at the end of the day, essentially it's free traffic. So if done right though, this is all going to become, one big ecosystem where everything kind of works in conjunction together. So that is how we've scaled, and how we teach the people that we work with and the agencies that we coach how to scale as well. And those are the exact same system. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that training. Let me know if you have any questions on that. I'm more than happy to answer in the comment section. And let me know if you actually implement this and start generating clients as well. Other than that, I will see you guys very soon, and I hope you have a great rest of your day / evening, wherever you're at. And thank you again for spending time watching this training, and I really do hope it's beneficial. I'll chat to you very soon.